Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm Satvik, one of the organizers of this conference. And this conference is an initiative from CoinMonk Ventures, which is aiming to bring Bitcoin awareness to common public. And in this particular, I'm a panelist where we'll be discussing about getting Bitcoin to India. What are the advantages? Okay, so as Sunny was explaining, Bitcoin is the first open source decentralized currency and a payment network. So it's two parts where you have a currency part, and on the other end, you have the network. So when both combined, you have what you call Bitcoin. Okay, and what the email did to the communication, as to writing letters, and now the Bitcoin is doing that to the money. So how we used to have, like how Sunny explained, from one place to one place, you could write letters and it would take days to reach there, and it is so expensive. And today we have email, which will be able to communicate within less than a minute. And what web did to publishing, at some point of time, everyone used to like read newspapers morning and evening, but now all technologists are more looking into the blogs, technical blogs, and reading newspapers and everything online. So that kind of transformation we are expecting with Bitcoin as well, that it is doing to the money. And Bitcoin is created by mining. That's what we say. The mining is actually solving of complex mathematical problems in an attempt to do the transaction auditing. That will happen in real time. Okay, so for Bitcoin to have the value of a currency, it needs to have certain characteristics. So the first thing, the money is only valuable when it is scarce, as in how much money will ever be generated, which is obviously not the case with the government, how it is doing it now. As they go on printing money, every 100 rupee bill that you have in your pocket will get devalued. And fungible, where a 100 rupee note, if you have 200 rupee notes, or one person having one, other person having the other one, they both have equal value. Similar thing with Bitcoin as well. If I have one Bitcoin, you have one, there is nothing different. And durables, as in once it is stored, it can be preserved for a long time, and it can be used whenever we need to take it out. And it's divisible, as in we have one Bitcoin can be divided into 8 decimal places. So even today we can even do like 0.0002 Bitcoins transfer. And unforgeable, as in now we have fake notes available all around. Just because of the security issues, even though they have created a lot of guidelines, the black guys who is trying to do the similar replica of the notes and trying to get into circulation. And this is totally avoided in Bitcoin, because double spending is not possible. So once a transaction occurs, that will be recorded into the blockchain, and it won't happen. It cannot happen again, as in it cannot be double spent again. And transferable, as in from one person to one person, it can be given. And global, which means from anywhere to anywhere. If you see this particular properties, we could still see gold to be one of the options, but the issue will be the divisibility. If you have like 10 grams of gold, and if you want to buy a toothbrush, it's not so easy to cut it and pay whatever milligrams of gold to him. It's very difficult, and its transferability is different. Is difficult. Let's say if I'm in Bangalore and Sunny is in Mumbai, if I need to send him gold, it's such a mess, really. And global, where from one place to one place, sending from one place to one place is difficult as well. Okay, so then we see challenges in Bitcoin adaptation. So one of the misconceptions that people usually have is it's unfair for people who have adopted it early, because they would have mined a lot of Bitcoins, then they may have a couple of thousands, but the newcomer, it's so difficult to enter. At the end, you have to consider that, let's say there is a IPO, shares issuing a company. At that time, whoever takes the risk and invests, if the company does better, obviously they will be beneficial. So similar thing is happening with Bitcoins as well. Whoever have early adopters, they have got more, because at that time, even though the Bitcoin did not have value, when did not have much value, they have taken the risk of using their computing power, time, and energy to mine Bitcoins. So they're getting rewarded now because they trusted in the currency. And the other question that we keep hearing is, what is it backed up by? Let's say, what is gold backed up by? I mean, gold has the value because it has intrinsic properties, whatever we just saw for currency. So it has intrinsic properties, which is really giving gold the value. And at the other end, for Bitcoins, it's basically everyone's rent and electricity, processing power, your time, whatever you would have, internet, whatever you have dedicated to mine those Bitcoins at that point of time, with whatever the value at that point of time. And a misconception about keeping it online. Even like a year ago or 2 years ago, we still had a lot of people who are afraid to use online banking because it's my money, it's on the bank account, but how can I just log into the bank account and transfer it? As in, I could be vulnerable to a lot of hacking attacks, some keyloggers, and everything. So that's one of the misconceptions. Even today, we have people who do not take debit cards just because they are afraid of using them. Okay, so that is one of the what you call a misconception that we have in India, and it's a challenge. And the volatility in value of Bitcoin, just because the value of the Bitcoin keeps on increasing and decreasing, which is way too volatile, at least since 3 months, it is very difficult for a shopkeeper to say, okay, this particular machine is 5 Bitcoins, because next day it could be 3, the other next day it could be 6. So it just makes adaptation of the Bitcoin a little bit difficult, as because it's really volatile. And the technical complexity, and in India we usually lag behind the technology. Like when we saw online banking in America, we only are seeing it after like 3 years after we saw there. So we lag behind the technology, usually because, it's on one part of it's technically complex, but Bitcoin is just introduced like 5 years ago, and it's the slow adaptation here is we have to pay more. I mean, the country has to pay more, I would say, to have more Bitcoins as time continues. And the security with Bitcoin, as in how exactly you preserve your Bitcoins. If you have it in your mobile phone, that particular threat is there where you could just lose your mobile phone. And unless you know how exactly to take the backups, make sure you have some kind of passwords and everything protected, it's just a challenge. And the other thing is the government regulations. As of now, government has said they are just waiting and watching, that's it. When they come out with a more better explanation of what they want to do, it would make common man to look more into Bitcoins. And other thing is, how do you exactly enforce the law? Let's say you did some kind of fraud, and we do not have a proper laws around Bitcoin yet. So as I said, Bitcoin, no matter what you do, even though it is actually designed to work away from the government, what steps government takes really have a major impact on Bitcoin value. And actually using Bitcoins actually brings benefits to both government as well and for the Bitcoin community. And for government, it could just use this to track the transactions, do the taxation, put whatever the service tax or VAT or whatever they're doing. It could even be automated, as of now it's not possible with money, where they just take money and they have to put the bill with VAT and everything, and at the end of the day they have to pay to the government. But with Bitcoin, it can even be automated. The software can be automated, where as soon as a transaction occurs, the taxation part of the Bitcoins just transfer to bank account. That's it, in one shot. So you need not really wait and do a lot of auditing and everything to see how much you need to pay for the government. And for the community, it's higher acceptance. So if government says it is good to use this one and we are supporting it with the laws and regulations and consumer protection, everything, we will obviously have higher acceptance, and even common man will look into it of how he can use the Bitcoin technology for himself to flourish. And the technical threats and we have for Bitcoins, it's hacking of the servers, where you have a computer where you have Bitcoins and it could get hacked. So you should be careful. Carelessness as in you lose your mobile phone, or you get some kind of virus on your computer, which will give access to a hacker to get your bitcoins. And the bypassing banking off the record, in the sense, you can just bypass the bank, like how we are actually using bank as a medium of a legal form of doing transactions. If you use bitcoins as of now, it won't go through the bank records. Obviously, it will be on its own trial, and this could actually form a threat, as in because it's not on the record, and you cannot show the Bitcoin transactions as a legal form of payment, to the government as of now. And we have the black market where people just exchange cash without the receipt, and that kind of thing is still possible with Bitcoin. But at the end of the day, at some point of time, this can still be traced. You could do something today, but today we don't have regulations. But in future, if we have more regulations, because these blocks will hold all the information, it can be traced back, and you can still be penalized. And the thing is that doing illegal activities, where even we had Silk Road example, like last month, where it did get shut down. So that as well, it's easy to trace back from where to where it's going, and who is the one who is doing the fraud there. It may not be possible for an individual to do it, but if an agency or the government really wants to do it, they can definitely trace back. So in our meetups, we keep on saying, if you want to do some kind of illegal activities, don't do with Bitcoin. You can be easily caught. And so now we see what exactly India has to gain with Bitcoins. As Sunny was saying, it's banking the unbanked, where we have 41% of our country population without bank accounts, without the access to bank accounts. And because of this, government is coming up with the plans where they are mandating the banks for every 4 branches to be opened in urban regions. They should open one in rural regions. And obviously this is, the banks are coming up with the explanation saying it's a loss for the bank because they would not get enough business from, they could not get enough business from the rural bank branches. And the other thing we would see is, we want the bank to come to us, not we going to the bank. And that is what Bitcoin is exactly doing. You are the owner of your own bank. You have the bank in your hands. And the technologies like SMS, email, and PT bankers, as in where if there is a proper service in between, you could just use an SMS to send Bitcoins from one person to one person. And if you see, even though it's how much rural it is, people do have access to at least SMS, I believe. And the PT bankers, as in there can be a small PT bankers, even on the rural side, who can accept the Bitcoins or even who can just take the cash and convert that into Bitcoins and put into the particular consumer's account, and they can hold it as the bank, and which they will be able to convert and give it back or be paid back in Bitcoins to the consumer when it is needed. And if you see what are the functions the bank does, it will store the money for you, it will send the money for you on your authorization, and whenever money comes to your account, they will make sure the transaction is processed and the money is put into the particular bank account. And if you have kept money there in savings bank or from fixed deposit form, it will also be giving the interest. So pretty much we see the same functionality that is delivered by the Bitcoins as well, where you can have the PT banker send the Bitcoins on behalf of you. You send an SMS to the PT banker. He can send it to whomever you want. Whenever he receives the Bitcoins, he can just make sure it goes to your Bitcoin account directly, and it acts as a store. And obviously, I don't think he would really pay interest for you, but it's definitely worth noticing that the Bitcoins is a deflammatory currency where its value will go up, and you bank pay interest because it want you to fight against inflation. And the Bitcoin being the deflammatory currency, it's actually inbuilt feature. Okay, pretty much again I covered it. So you can see here how the American dollars was getting more money in circulation and how the inflation has gone up. So as more and more American dollars, the higher is the inflation. On the other end, we could see the value of Bitcoin going up, where it has gone by 10,000% in the recent year, and India has lost 20% against American dollars within this last financial year. Again, it makes difficult for, say, people who are in America, where you need to send money to them, or you pay to them for their services. You will actually end up paying more. So Bitcoin, if it is used as a universal currency, obviously it could help you. And we have gold lovers in India. People have more of they just want to possess gold just because of those characteristics I explained to you. And the Bitcoin actually is bringing all those characteristics, including divisibility and worldwide transferability. And when you have gold, you would just feel it's yours. That's it. So it's the same with Bitcoins as well. If you have the Bitcoins, it's yours. No one would say, no one can really say those Bitcoins do not belong to you. As long as you hold it, it is just yours. The world accepts it. And Bitcoin, as in Gold 2.0, like Sunny explained, it's more or less called a digital gold itself. And the new generation, where people are not looking gold as just an investment. People are looking to invest in Bitcoins, the new generation who actually can understand the technology of how it works and what are its benefits. And India being one of the largest remitter, where we have 70 billion American dollars coming, and up to 10% is just gone for the payment processors. Whoever is bringing, like Western Union or any other company, Zoom or whatever, who are getting the money for you, they are taking a significant chunk. And using Bitcoins, it can be totally avoided. And imagine like 7 more billion coming from in the form of remittances, just because we could use Bitcoin as a form of remittance. And and also the other end, we need the support from the government, where for this kind of remittances to occur, it's not possible where you can just go yourself and do this kind of remittances. So once if that kind of support comes up, it would help us to bring the Bitcoin and the transaction cost to zero. Whatever is sent, it can be received on the other end. And India being vast in information technology industry, where people can really understand how the Bitcoin works. And we have around 350,000 people, IT people just in Bangalore, and where a lot of the companies are accepting American dollars from different parts of the world, and again losing lot in transaction fees. And this could, using Bitcoin could reduce the high transaction cost and conversion rate, conversion from dollars to rupees. And those companies, if we can come up, if we can even start paying in Bitcoins, which would be like a wall for the employees. On the other end, where India could be very much beneficial is micropayments, where we have unemployment of about 5.7%, and a lot of people will lose, who does some kind of freelancing, are losing like up to 10% in just transaction fees and conversions. And accepting Bitcoins will really help them to get whatever is being paid. It will just come to them. And it is also helpful in royalty-free stuff, as in they do photos, they do some music trials, some video archives and everything. So whatever their creativity, and they could write reports, they could write stories, whatever they are good into, they would continue, they can just accept tips in the form of Bitcoins. Else, for a guy in, say, America who just likes a story, how would he pay $10 to a lady in Bangalore? It's totally like impractical without the use of this kind of virtual currency. And the charities, where let's say we saw some country having some kind of floods or something. If you need to pay money, if someone comes and asks you, okay, if you can help it, how do you know how much money whether the money you are really paying is really helping those people in the other country who are in floods? But using Bitcoin, all they can do is create one web page, put the photos, put a Bitcoin address, and as soon as you pay, there is no middleman, the Bitcoins will just reach them. And here we discuss about what can make Bitcoin to be, adopted more in India. Obviously, we need some kinds of rules and regulations that the government can come up with, and the consumer protection. So if they can offer some kind of consumer protection, either through registering the Bitcoin merchant as a merchant who can accept Bitcoin, obviously, and pose some kind of rules and regulations on them, and whoever pays Bitcoins, they are secured in some way. So some kind of consumer protection can definitely help India to get more from Bitcoin. And educating people about Bitcoins and its benefits. As we know, we just a little bit lag behind technology, and explaining them how exactly the Bitcoin works and what are its benefits would really make the adaptation of the Bitcoin more easier. And also about teaching how to secure the Bitcoins. So if you have Bitcoins, you should be taught how you should secure it, or else because of your carelessness, negligence, you could just lose it. And these things will just help you for the mass people to adopt Bitcoin. And then, if mass people adopt, it will obviously help the business. So it's based upon, synergy between the businesses and the end user. So based upon these, the situation of India and the benefits of Bitcoin, we have started a venture called CoinMonk Ventures, and we have taken steps to bring people closer in the Bitcoin community and making new people know about Bitcoins. So these are some of the initiatives that we have taken. So we are mining on behalf of shareholders, as in anyone can invest Bitcoins into our company, where we will be using them to buy miners, and we will be mining the Bitcoins, and we'll be distributing them as dividends. And we are creating miners based upon Butterfly Lab chips. We have a Butterfly guy lab here. Sorry, a Butterfly guy here as well, who will be talking later on. And we have a physical Bitcoin, which is a physical item which you can just hold in hand. It's basically a coin which you can just use to accept Bitcoins from anyone that where it just have a QR code behind it. And this Global Bitcoin Conference, this is one of our next initiatives, and followed by UnoCoin, which is a buy-sell Bitcoin service that we will be launching today. And we have a booth here where we have set up some stuff for you which can be purchased for Bitcoin. So we have physical Bitcoins that I was explaining you, which holds 0.01 Bitcoins in it, that can be purchased for 0.02 Bitcoins. And we have gold coins that have the Bitcoin emblem on it. So if you say Bitcoin is gold, why not buy gold coin with Bitcoin as well? And we have a demonstration from BFL-based chip miner that we have created, and we also have UnoCoin demonstration. So here we have the UnoCoin as